Hi, it's Mark with At My Home, and today we're going to review the HomeSeer HS4 Pi G2 Smart Home Hub. Now, HomeSeer sent us this for the review, and we're kind of excited because if you do a lot of smart home things, especially if you use Z-Wave, that's why you need one of these hubs. It really allows you to take care of a lot of devices that are really low power, like battery powered, and you really want to have one for here. But the other thing that's nice about it is local control, which means I don't have to be hooked up to the internet. It'll actually do all the things right here in our house from this little hub. Now the hub's nice. It actually powers up with a micro USB cable. It has 4 USB ports. Now those are very important because while the hub has Z-Wave built in, it doesn't have Zigbee. You have to buy a Zigbee stick and plug it in and then get one of their free plugins for Zigbee to be able to control Zigbee devices. It also comes with an Ethernet port and Wi-Fi built in, so if you want to work it, like have your hub somewhere other than near where you can plug it into your router, the Wi-Fi works great with this. We can use it either way. It also comes with a HDMI port, so if you want to hook it up to a monitor for whatever reason, an audio port, and it has a little bit of an LED light that tells you whether it's booted up or not. It'll come up, it'll turn red, and then it'll turn green, and when it's ready to go. Overall, it's really nice. It even has spots in the back if you want to mount it to the wall, like, these little slots, so you can go ahead and do that. So it's really nice. It's, I think, 32 gigabytes of internal memory, or not memory, but storage. And so it's very fast, and you can do a lot of things with this one box. So we like it because, and we've been testing this now for several months, we like it because it does the local control, so things are really quick. So I'm going to show you some of those things, but first, let's go ahead and set it up. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing installed. Now, I've already installed this, but I'm going to walk you through some of the screens and show you what you need to do. So first off, when you get your HomeSeer box, your P1, you enter findhomeseer.com. So this is going to be installed and actually operated mostly from a web interface. So if I click on that, you see it brings up a HomeSeer screen, and it'll show you the device that you're hooked up on your network. It already finds it. So you just click on the device name, and then what'll happen is, now these screens are coming up because I'm already there, but let me show you. If I go into setup and I hit register, this is just what you would do on your machine. What'll happen is it'll come up with this registration screen, and what you do is you enter in your license ID and your password that are on the bottom of this box, of the device. You need those numbers, so don't ever lose those numbers. And you enter the license and password in there, and then you say continue. And then what it's going to do is it's going to register your system, but it's also going to make you change your password because you don't want to use the default, right? So now you're set up to the box. So he's now enabled, ready to go. Then after you do that, you need to go to what's called my HomeSeer.com. And here, this is kind of the cloud interface, right? So now what I can do here is when you come in the first time, you'll need to register. So let's bring up the registration screen. And what you'll notice is it says, what's your email address and account password that you want to use for your HomeSeer account? And basically what you need to do is use the same username and password you did when you set up this box over here. And you'll see on the bottom it has license ID and license password, so you need to put those in. Then put in the same email address and account password you used to set up your HomeSeer device. And that basically ties them together. And what's really nice about that is once you do that, and I'll bring it up over here, now you can access your system from anywhere using my HomeSeer or myhs.homeseer.com. And you click Access System, and up comes everything you've got set up on your hub. Now, I think what you want to think about is you're really running your hub locally when you're running it in your house. And so you'll notice it has the IP address of this hub. Now, that's the wired IP address. There's actually a wireless IP address as well, and I could go to that as well. But right now, since I'm in the house and I'm connected up to Ethernet, I go to 115, and there I am. I have everything hooked up. So as you can see, this is the main dashboard. But first of all, I want to kind of go through and talk about plugins, because when you get this, and we go to plugins and I say, what do I have for installed plugins? It takes a few seconds for it to come up. it shows you the plugins we've installed on the system. Now, plugins extend the functionality of the box. And you'll notice there's a Z-Wave one and a Z-Wave UI. So both of those need to be there. They should be there when you get your HS4 P1. But if they're not, you can go to the store, or let's hit add here on plugins. And this is basically their store for plugins. And there's some things that are free. So you see the Z-Wave UI, it's a free plugin. If there's a cost to them, you can see there's a cost listed how much each of those plugins cost. Now, if you want to install a plugin, you just click on that plugin and up comes a screen. It tells you what version it is and whether it's free. If it's not free, you just click on store. It'll bring you to their web page. You buy the plugin, you'll get a license key, and then you can go ahead and install it. And then you just click install, and it'll install the plugin on your hub, and you're ready to go for that plugin. Now, once you do that, though, let's go back to the plugins we have installed. You need to see this little blue switch over here. When you install it the first time, it'll be off. You just move it to the on position, and that enables it. And then from there, you can do different commands. So there's all these commands you can do in the case of Z-Wave, like add and remove devices and so forth. But we also installed other ones like SmartThings and Roomy. Roomy's was something we actually had to pay some money to go ahead and get that plugin. But it's a device we have in our house. We're able to get a plugin for that. There's other plugins as well, like MyQ and things like that. And then Philips Hue. A lot of people have Philips Hue. We have Philips Hue, so we installed that one, and that's nice and easy. If you look at it, you can say add new bridge, and then you hook it up like you do your normal Hue bridge plugins, where you just basically go and hit the button on the hub, and it'll all come in, and all of your Hue bulbs and everything else will come into the HomeSeer. The Z-Wave UI, there's really nothing to do. Just make sure it's enabled. All right. Okay, so I know you're looking at this and saying, well, do I have to have all these plugins? The answer is really no. The only plugin you really need if you're going to hook Z-Wave devices up is the Z-Wave and the Z-Wave UI plugin. And those plugins should be pre-installed. And again, if they aren't, just go ahead and install them. But in order to hook up Z-Wave devices, you need that. And then everything else, the plugins are if you need it. If you don't need the Philips Hue plugin, you don't have to install it. So don't worry about that. All right, so now the one thing we want to do is we want to do Z-Wave devices. So if I come in here and I say I want to remove a device, because one of the things you do with Z-Wave is you might have it connected up to something else. So I'm going to say remove device, and you see the remove sequence comes in here, and it has a continue button. Now I have a little handy dome sensor here, right? Water leak sensor. And if I open it up and I say continue on the screen, it'll say put yourself into exclusion mode, which in this case is three taps. And then what should happen is it should remove it from the system was on. Now it turned out I actually had it hooked up here, but it just did the remove. It gives you the sequence of what it goes through to remove it. And it says exclude, it's done, exclude process succeeded. Well, that's great news. So it's now no longer hooked up to any other hub. So we say finish. And then we come back over here. Now if I go back to plugins, and this time I go to Z-Wave, and I say add device, I want to add this to our system. So again, this time it's add, and we're going to say continue. Put this into inclusion mode. So 3 taps on this particular device. You need to know what you have to do on your device for whatever device you're hooking up. And as you can see, it's going through and finding it. It found it. It's saving the information. It's all done. Now, when this thing finishes, which is really interesting, let me close this up first of all. Okay. It wants to know what floor. This is kind of the thing that HomeSeer does. What floor do you want this on? So we're upstairs. So we're on the 2nd floor. And what room? Okay, I'll put it in Mark's office bath, just because it's really going to be for a leaky toilet or something. So we'll say the bath. But you can also create new floors and new rooms if you want here. And then you say continue. And so now it's created floor, 2nd floor, room, Mark's office, bath. We hit continue. And we say finish. And now it's created that device. So if I look in here, I should be able to see that device. So let's take a look. There it is, Mark's Office Bath. It created the device, right? So if I click on it, you see it's a dome water sensor. It's got a battery set status. It has the water notification and the water sensor status. It'll tell me whether it has a problem or not. Now, what's really good about this is that I can look in this dashboard and see exactly what's happening with that device. So if it gets wet, it'll go off and make a sound. And what you should see is it says leak detected, right? So it's really nice, and now it's back to okay. So it works, it's all hooked up to the system. All right, now the other thing is you notice there's a lot of things on here, right? And including Philips Hue. But let's take a look at something here for a second. I want to go back to the plugins. And one of the plugins I installed was SmartThings. Now, what's great about having SmartThings is we have a SmartThings hub that has like 100 devices on it, both sensors, switches, and so forth. And it takes time, to switch them from Z-Wave on that hub over to this hub. So in the interim, we can go to SmartThings and we can say, manage devices and scenes. And what happens is all the devices that we have hooked up to our SmartThings hub show up here. Look, this is a big, long list, right? Now, I want to be able to turn the lights on and off in the room I'm in. So I can come here and I happen to have a bonus room light switch and brighten. And what that really is code name for is I have a Zigbee switch. And remember, I don't have a Zigbee interface right now in this hub. I can click on this and I'll click it, select it. And now if I go to the bottom and I say create HomeSeer devices, whichever ones I've clicked on will actually become a HomeSeer device. So I click create. It's created it. I say okay. And now if I go back to devices, what I'm going to see here is bonus room light switch and brighten. It's there. And now watch this. I think you'll see a change in the room here. So I can switch them off. And you see it's there. Now we have the studio lights on, so it's kind of bright. And I'm going to switch them on again. And you see it goes on. Now you may have noticed a little delay from when I clicked to when the status changed on the screen. And that's because it's a cloud interface, right? We're going from the HomeSeer hub over the internet down to the SmartThings, turning it off, coming back and reporting status. So that's the thing. It's a little slower than if I had something that was native on here. I now have the lights on. And I want to take a look and show you what happens with Philips Hue on this thing because we happen to have them in the room. So we're going to turn off the studio lights for a second. All right, so we've turned one of the studio lights off. Now let's bring up the Philips Hue. And this one here, you'll notice we have a lot of lights in the room. Bonus room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 lights in this ceiling here. But I'm going to control them all at once. And so I can turn them off all at once. You should notice a change in the look. I can turn them on all at once. But I can also come in here and I can say, oh, I want to change the color of what we have. So I can come in here now and I can change this. I can click the color and I can say, okay, I'm in red. I can make it all red and I can save that away. And you may notice now that the room has a red tint to it. And I can also come in here and say, I want to make them blue. And I can give them a blue tint, right? So I can do these things all through Philips Hue, all through the HomeSeer interface right here on the web. Or on my browser. All right, and now I want to bring this back to full color because we wanted to have it in full color. And, oops, that looks a little pink, so we're going to make sure we got in the corner there. And we'll say save. And now things should be bright again in the room because I've done it. All right, we're turning on the studio lights. Okay, so that kind of gives an idea that you can control things with your Philips Hue, not a problem at all. All right, so what else can we control here? Well, first of all, I don't think we need to worry about the bonus room anymore. So we're going to take that and click on it. And now the bonus room light switches are off because the nice thing in this interface is I can actually say, hey, I only want to look at these things on my interface and it reduces clutter. The other thing I can do though on this interface, and this is the devices screen, is I can do what's called list view. You saw the other one was kind of in a block view. Now I can say list view, and remember that dome water sensor, you see all the settings are right here. The front door open close sensor here. That happens to be another SmartThings thing. I needed to have a sensor to see if the door opened or closed. This HSM200 is actually this little light here. This little light, listen to me. It's a little sensor. It's actually a motion sensor, and I can set the color of that light. So I can go in here, for example, and I can say, oh, I want to make that red. And now it's red. Or I can make it blue, or I can make it magenta, or I can put it back and put it red, or I can turn it off. So the point is I have full control of that from this interface, and it's really easy to use. Now, what else is interesting is that HomeSeer actually has an app that runs on your phone. Okay, so I have it on here. Here's the app, and these are my favorites. So I can come in here and I can say, oh, what are all the devices I have in here? So these are all the devices, just like you saw on the interface on the browser. But I can actually tell them to be favorites. And so it'll come up on the dashboard, and you can have multiple dashboards. And then again, I can come in here and I can say, oh, I want to change the color of that light. And I can just do it right here from the app. So what we find is that the app on the phone, right, really works well as a way to control things, right? But if you want to get down and dirty and actually create things, you need to use the web interface. Now, the other one we have on here, and this will give you an idea how fast things are. I'm going to turn this light on and off. Now watch this. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to turn it off. And you notice it's very fast. And what I have here is a Zeus double plug. This is a Z-Wave plug, and you can see on, off. That's the power of local control. It's instant. You don't have to wait. All right? Now, same thing, of course, I can do here. Here's that same switch, right? The Zeus switch, and it happens to be the test lamp switch 1 Zeus. I labeled it that way because I wanted to know what device it was on. And now I can turn it on, and I can turn it off from the web interface as well. All right? So it kind of give you an idea how this whole thing works. Now, that's great. So we can see we can hook up Z-Wave devices. We can bring over our SmartThings things. We can use Philips Hue or other devices with a system. But what if I want to create an event? Because I want things to happen automatically. I want to know if this goes and finds water. So let's go to the events. And you can add multiple events to this thing, and they're really powerful. So we have one set up for water link, and it's like, oh, here's one, dome sensor, water present. Now I pre-set up some of this, but we need to hook up, because you see there's a water leak, dome sensor present. It's the title we gave this, but we don't have the device here. So we need to say if a device value, right, is, all right, and this device changes and becomes, all right, the device we want to have is, let me spin down. You notice all the things that we have in here are here. And there we go. There's the second Mark's Office Bath Dome Water Sensor. Now, the reason why that happens is what HomeSeer does is it concatenates the floor, the room, and then the sensor name all in one spot. So they get long and complex, but you know, it's nice you can actually find things. So we'll say the dome water sensor. And what feature? Well, the water sensor, right? We want to know if the water's been detected. And the trigger value is water detected. And I can have other triggers. All right, so then I save that away. And then what you can see here is I've set up a then statement that says, oh, we can take a look at it. And I have it all set up here where I say, oh, let's control a device, the master bedroom test lamp switch, which is here, okay? And I want to turn it on if we detect water. And I want to change the color of this device here to red. And it's all set up that way. I don't have to worry about it now. It's set, ready to go. Now let's go and change the other system. Okay, so again, the if statement will put in here the device, and the device will be, what did we say? It was the second floor dome water sensor. And the feature we want to have is water sensor. And the trigger value is that it's okay. All right. And we'll save that away. And then what we did was we set it up so that the light will go off and the color will turn green. So let's see if it all works. Let's give it a try. So again, our water, put it on the dome. And the light came on, and this little light here on this motion sensor turned red. and I do it, take it off, and you see how fast, once the thing was okay, the light went off and the color changed to green. So again, on, off immediately. Really great performance, and you saw it was a very powerful way of setting up events. You can compound things and so forth. So now let's take a look at tools. And in the tools, this is a Linux-based system. Don't get into that at all. Just know that there's something called backup and restore. Now, backup and restore is kind of handy because you may want to go restore things. You get, with the system, it comes with one backup capability. So you can actually run backup, and you can do it in a schedule, and it'll back this up to itself, which is kind of interesting. But if you want to back it up to the cloud or have more, then that's something you have to go and I think you have to pay a fee to HomeSeer to do that. And what I did for the system was I said, well, I can do one backup, so I can come in here and I can say backup now, right? And it says backup progress, it's running. So I've just now backed up the system. As you can see, it's pretty quick. And what it's doing is, as I said, backing it up to here. That's really important to keep in mind. And by the way, I have used the backup. So especially if you're playing around a lot and you want to restore to a certain point. Now it's completed the backup, so you close that. Now, but how do I get and restore it, right? So if I hit local restore, I can say select the date, and you see it comes up with a calendar of what I've done, and today's the 28th, so we'll do that. And you see what it comes up with. It says, oh, here's your backup. Now, if you want, you can download the backup, or you can upload the backup. So upload the backup is not what you think. Upload the backup lets you bring a backup. Well, let me just click on it here. And I can say upload backup, and I can go on my hard drive, and I can, I can go on my Mac and its file system. I can find the last time I backed it up, and I can upload that backup into this machine. Or if I wanted to grab this guy here, I can say I want to download this backup we just did onto my Mac. Okay, so there's ways of kind of doing it. It's a little confusing at first, but once you get used to it, it's not a big deal. And then if I wanted to restore that backup that I selected, I just click execute, and it will bring that backup, and it'll restore it on top of the device. Well, I'm not going to do that here, obviously. So that's it. Nice little backup and restore capability with the system. If you did pay for cloud restore, then there is a cloud restore button here for doing that. And that's it. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about what's happening with this hub, except for one thing, and that's that this Amazon Echo, I want to be able to use that, right? So let's go ahead and set something up. So let's come in here, and we have, let's see, where did we come in? We had the Zoo switch, right? So here's our Zoo switch, and I would like to have it where I can ask her to turn the lamp on and off as a command. But how do you set it up? Well, first off, you need to do two things. You need to load the skills for HomeSeer. There's two skills. One's the HomeSeer Smart Home skill, and the other one is the HomeSeer Home Automation skill. So if I click on the Test Lamp Zoo switch, it comes up and it shows me the feature, which is the Test Lamp Zoos, Switch 1 Zoos, that's what I named it. It's on the first floor, master bedroom, that's where we took this out of. And if I scroll down, you see there's something called Amazon Alexa Discovery, and if you're a Google Home person, there's also one for that. You click on Amazon Alexa Discovery. You notice it turned on local voice control in case you're someone that uses their local voice control. It's not relevant to the Alexa. So this Amazon Alexa Discovery, I'll say save. And now when I look at this here, you'll notice it has like a cloud icon next to that switch. That's because we've enabled it for remote control. So now I can come in here and say, Alexa, discover devices.
Starting discovery. This will take a few moments. Power on your new devices now, and if needed, put them in pairing mode. I found first master bedroom test lamp switch 1 Zoos, and you can control it by saying, turn off first master bedroom test lamp switch 1 Zoos.
Okay, did you notice something there? She created a name because HomeSeer sent this to her of the floor, so first, and then master bedroom, that's the room it's in, and then the name of the feature. And keep in mind the name of the feature. So she made it first master bedroom test lamp switch 1 Zeus. So it can be long and complex, but if you've used Alexa at all, you know that you can do things in a much simpler way. So I can do something like, Alexa, turn on test lamp switch 1. And you see she turned it on. So I didn't have to repeat all the things. I only had to do the repeat sentence. And on it goes. Alexa, turn off test lamp switch 1. There you go. So, and it was very fast. I was very impressed. It was really quick. So overall, we really like the HS4 Pi G2 smart home hub. It's really fast. It does local control. I don't have to be hooked up to the internet after I set it up. It does really well with a web interface. So you just go on your browser on your laptop or your PC, and you can control everything on there. You also have an interface on the phone, so if I want to go off and do things with my phone, I can do that as well. The events, right? Setting up events is fantastic. You can set up really complex events. Really works out nice. I think the one thing it doesn't have is it doesn't have built-in Zigbee. It does have built-in Z-Wave. It would be nice if I didn't have to stick a Zigbee stick in here, but you can, and they provide the plugin for it. You can extend the system really well because you can buy a lot of different plugins, or there's a lot of free plugins as well, as you saw with the Philips Hue. And I think what's nice is they also give you the ability to take a legacy system like SmartThings and be able to add those to your system. So it gives you a lot of power, especially if you're migrating like we are, to be able to go off and make that migration really easy and not something where you got to rush to get it all done. So overall, we really like it. It's quick, it's fast, and it's really small. I think, I don't know why I say it's really small, but I do like the fact that it's a little box. It doesn't really take up a lot of space. And the really kind of cool thing is, check this out. I can unplug the Ethernet, and what's going to happen is that's not going to work there, but I can come in here because I have to know our Wi-Fi address, and I can say, oh, I'm going to go over to the Wi-Fi, and because I can go over Wi-Fi on this thing, you see, it still came up. So I'm now working on Wi-Fi. I'm not plugged into the Ethernet anymore, and it still continues to work. So that's it. That's the HomeSeer HS4 Pi G2 Smart Home Hub. Thank you.